UFC Vegas 114 is tomorrow. Uh, Josh Emmett, Kevin Vallejos, with a co-main of Amanda Lemos, Gillian Robertson. Wait till we get to that fight. And I'm gonna go over and break down every single fight, give my predictions, uh, and every outcome that I think is gonna happen. Let's get into it. Starting with Pierre Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes. Sam Page. And unfortunately, this is a very well anticipated rematch. Pierre Rodriguez has beaten Sam Hughes before by decision in 2022, but Sam Hughes, ever since that loss, she lost. I think she got on like a 2-fight win streak, lost one more time, and then she's on like a 4-fight win streak, I believe, right now. A lot of split decisions, a lot of close fights. I think I may pick Sam Hughes to win this. This is tough. 50-50 match. I could see Pierre Rodriguez just being too muscly. She is shorter by 2 inches and has a bit of a reach disadvantage. But Sam Hughes really does leave it close a lot. Like, I think two split decisions are her last couple of wins. Um, I'm just not sure how much I can trust that. Split decisions in WMMA, you are playing with fire when you are trying to get a split decision win over someone in WMMA. But I think I'm gonna go with Sam Hughes for this. She's just been on a win streak. She's more active. They're the same age, I think. It doesn't show this on here, does it? Let me search up real quick their ages. Because that matters in WMMA unless you're on the co-main event. Anyways, yeah, 33. They're both 33 years old. Sam Hughes, though, like I said, she lost to what's her name, Pierre Rodriguez, beat Jacqueline Amorim, decent, then lost to Yasmin Jargriel, another decision. Now she's on a 3-fight win streak against Victoria Dakova, split decision, Stephanie Luciano, split decision, and then she submitted Shauna Bannon in her last fight, which is decent win. Do I think Sam Hughes can get it done again by decision? She's a slight underdog by 130. Do I take her? Do I take her right now? I think, when's the last time Pierre Rodriguez fought? 7 months ago. Sam Hughes fought 6 months ago. But I don't know what happened between, she is very inactive. Sam Hughes was 3 years ago. And since she last beat Sam Hughes, she's lost 2 fights and then won 2, so had 4 fights in total. Sam Hughes has had, what was that, 6 fights since losing to Pierre Rodriguez? 5 fights since losing to Pierre Rodriguez. It's only one more fight, huh? Only one more fight. Is Sam Hughes on the same grappling level as Gillian Robertson? No, she isn't. She isn't. I'm going to go with Pereira Rodriguez by decision. I kind of want to choose Sam Hughes. Right now, I'm thinking about choosing Sam Hughes and just switching. But she makes it so close in all of her fights. And at least, Pereira Rodriguez, of course, she got submitted by Gillian Robertson. Then she had that disqualification loss over Ariane Carnelossi. But besides that, decision went over Josephine Knutson, and then Ketlin Souza split decision. That's a split decision, though. You know what, Sam Hughes. Hey, guess what, dude? We ride with the underdog. A little bit rangier. I think she's going to use a little bit more grappling this time. I am unable to find the first fight. Fight Pass sucks. UFC Paramount Plus sucks. I can't find any old fights. A lot of these fights I wanted to watch back and try and look at and try and see if I could get some better picks going. But it's hard to find old fights, I feel like. Or not old fights, but recent fights. Like, I wanted to watch Amanda Lemos, Tatiana Suarez, to see how well she was able to stuff those takedowns and stuff. Because I know she arguably won against Tatiana Suarez. and had some close moments. I just can't find that fight, which is sick. That I'm not able to find a fight. So I'm gonna go with Sam Hughes to win by decision. I'm gonna go with Sam Hughes to win by decision. Boring, I think she'll lose the first round. Pierre Rodriguez starts off strong and then she wins the last 2 rounds. Kind of using her grappling maybe a little bit. She's gotten a lot better as a grappler, so I'm gonna say she wins with grappling in rounds 2 and 3. I don't know. Okay, Luan Lacerda versus Hetcher Sosa. So it is Sosa's debut. Luan Lacerda is coming off of a win over Simon Oliveira, armbar. But Lacerda has been knocked out by Damian Blackshear and lost to Cody Stamann by decision. He's kind of a submission guy, Luan Lacerda, but Hetcher Sosa is kind of good everywhere, if I remember correctly from what I watched. He's got decent, that's what it was. Yeah, that's the guy I was watching. He's got decent hands. He's pretty quick, a little bit taller, a little bit, reach disadvantage. He's got some decent submission games on people shooting in. Luan Lacerda, he's just a big submission guy, but he kind of shells up and he kind of sucks, dude. Losing to Damon Blackshear, it's decent. Am I gonna change again? Dude, I'm having a hard time picking fights. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, I had to move my car. Anyways. I think Sosa's got some decent takedown defense. He's got some decent submissions. Luan Lacerda is just not too impressive, dude. Not too impressive. Lost a decision to Cody Stamann. Damon Blackshear out-grappled him and TKO'd him. Simon Oliveira, not the best guy. I think Hetcher Sosa, is he the favorite? He is the favorite. There we go. Finally picking a favorite. Pretty good combinations, decent knees up the middle. A lot of knees up the middle is what I last saw. I couldn't watch his Contender Series fight, so I had to watch, who'd I watch? Thiago Henrique? Is that who I watched? Watch an old fight of his. Anyways, decent knees up the middle. A lot of stuff up the middle, uppercuts up the middle, knees up the middle, trying to stop grapplers from shooting in takedowns. I think Luan Lacerda is going to be too weak. He's short. He has a reach advantage somehow. He's not going to use it. Leg reach disadvantage, though. Boom. I think Sosa can get this done by round 2 knockout. Round 2 knockout, Luan Lacerda. I think he can maybe even out-grapple Lacerda once he starts getting combos off, good body work up against the fence. Maybe Luan Lacerda will start crumbling, and Sosa can shoot in a good double leg and shove him down and then ground and pound him from there. I think Sosa will get around 2 KO. That's my thinking. But moving up, Bia Mesquita, Montes Redon. I'm going to go with Bia Mesquita. Amazing grappler, great grappler. Montes Redon, she's only lost via decision, I think. But Bia Mesquita's just... I haven't seen anything from, whatever her name is, Montes Redon, where I'm thinking she's not going to be caught in something that Bia Mesquita throws up. She's a grappler. Comes at you heavy, and then you end up against the cage, and she's kind of smothering you up against the cage, and she, kind of a blitzer. I think Bia Mesquita is just gonna accept all the blitzes that Montes Redon throws, or I guess runs into her, and I think Bia Mesquita is gonna be able to drop something, pull guard. Honestly, Montes Redon's a person you could probably pull guard against and at work, because she's gonna be all up on you. Now Bia Mesquita's a little bit shorter. She is very small for the bantamweight division. But I think it works, she's lithe, she's scrambly, she can get around. I think she'll be able to submit Montes Redon in the second. First round, maybe she puts Rodon in some difficult scenarios, and Rodon still has a little bit of energy and she can just barely stay ahead. And then I think round two, Mesquita's going to set up something. I think maybe she'll be able to scramble around, get the back at some point, or maybe like an arm triangle from bottom, or not an arm triangle, sorry, a triangle choke from bottom. Something fun, something fun from bottom. She's really good at grappling, very, very good at grappling. Elite grappler, better than Shamrock Pal. But I'm taking Bia Mesquita. This should be a lock. This should be an easy lock, in my opinion. She is at a 68-inch reach disadvantage, though, and a leg reach disadvantage. I forgot she did lose both arms and legs before this fight. So this may be a little tough, but I think she can still get the fabled force choke submission over Montez Rodon. So there we go. Brad Tavares, Eric Anders, dude. These are two Fortnite default skins, and these are just different. These are different variants of the Fortnite default skin. Brad Tavares, Eric Anders are just, NPC. What is this, middleweight? Whatever. Yeah, NPC middleweights. The odds are like 50-50. They're both at -115. It's a hard one to match up. I'm gonna go with Eric Anders. A little bit less losses. Not as many wars, I think he beat Weidman, and Brad Tavares took Weidman to a decision. Eric Anders knocked out Weidman. So you know what, dude? Easy. But no, these are basically like carbon copy clones, Tavares has a half an inch leg reach advantage and a 1 inch reach advantage. So that takes the cake. He wins off of that. But I think just Eric Anders has had a little bit more impressive wins. Brad Tavares, he's just kind of in there. Took Mearshart to a lackluster decision that he didn't lose, but he did lose around to Old Man Mearshart to GM 300. He lost around to GM 300. I think Eric Anders is just gonna be a little bit quicker. He seems a little bit more powerful. And Brad Tavares just doesn't have as much of a threat as Eric Anders, So I'm going to go with Eric Anders by decision, I think. Is that who I chose? Yeah, by decision. Eric Anders by decision. Again, they are -110 each. Near evens. Tapology, it's 53 Anders, 47 Tavares. I think Eric Anders is going to get it done. Next up, Vallejos, Manuel Sosa. I'm going to go with Vallejos, dude. I'm going with Vallejos. I am scared for him. He's lost to Mason Jones. Got submitted by Chris Duncan. But those are two really good guys. He beat Michael Aswell, 4-day step-up notice, and he, kind of won it. Competitive fight. Beat somebody. Timmy Turner or whatever his name is. Timmy Kawamba. Split decision to him. But Manuel Sosa, I watched his Lucas Barros fight, and he is just kind of sloppy, dude. He's kind of sloppy. He overthrows a lot, and so does Vallejos, but he at least lands somewhat. Lucas Barros, and I am scared because Vallejos is very good. He does a very good job of making sure he gasses himself out no matter what. If it's round one, Vallejos is going to try and gas himself out by throwing big, hard shots at you that miss. He doesn't hit too much, but I think when he does land, you saw it against Mason Jones. He gave some trouble to Mason Jones early. A lot better than Jeremy Stevens, is all I'm going to say. But I think Manuel Sosa's just not he's got decent combinations, good body work and stuff, but he kind of just runs into you and swings, and Vallejos' a pretty slick counter striker. I think he'll get this one done, and the thing is, I could see him also getting a decision win. I'm going to say round 1 KO, because he's so powerful, but he didn't get against Mickey Aswell, or Michael Aswell, on 4 days' notice. Okay, how about this? Decision. I'm going to go with Vallejos decision win, but he hurts Manuel Sosa pretty bad. Maybe drops him in the first, wins the second barely, and then the third he starts losing out because he's gassed out. Yeah, I think that's close enough. Manuel Sosa, he's decent, a little bit shorter. Reach disadvantage, leg reach disadvantage too. I think Vallejos is going to really use that to counter well. Again, they both kind of just retard rush at each other and just swing wildly. But Velajoki's a little bit slicker on the counter. I think he'll get it good. I'm not sure how good Manuel Sosa's chin is. I think he's only lost via decision against a wrestler, a very good wrestling guy, prospect. But I think Velajoki can switch him off in the first, and if not, he'll be able to outpace him, or not outpace him, but just be a little bit slicker than Manuel Sosa over 3 rounds, winning rounds 1 and 2, 29-28 style. Let's go. Let's go for that. I can look. Dude, this is awful. So look. Look at this, dude. Takedown defense, 66-62. Oh my goodness. That's pretty cool. We can go by the numbers right here. All right, moving up. Elijah Smith, Sung Young Yu. I'm going with Elijah Smith. Oh my goodness, does he look weird. He looks like a serial killer right here. If I'm just being honest, he looks like he's about to jump out of my screen and attack me if I didn't pick him. But I'm going to go with Elijah Smith. You know, I'm not just doing it because he got the Rampage powerbomb over to Shomi Kazuma. Dude, he got it done. I think he's won a little bit better competition. Sung Young Yu, he beat AJ Cunningham. Long Zhao, a decision. Not looking the best. Which, he did beat Garbrandt. So still looking decent, but Garbrandt's not all there. But he's small. Sung Young Yu is small for the division. 5'6", 65-inch reach, 36-inch leg reach. He should be he'd have to be a flyweight, huh? 5'6", but he's kind of thick. Not that way. He's muscular. He's dense. How about that? Dim Beam's gonna, rip me a new one for saying he's kind of thick. He's dense, muscular-wise. But I don't think the grappling's gonna be too much of a difference. Good takedown, 53% takedown defense, or 57% takedown defense from Elijah Smith. I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to get another power bomb, but after seeing someone get power bombed, you're going to be a little bit more hesitant to grapple with Elijah Smith, putting yourself on bottom. Also, before that power bomb, Elijah Smith was doing pretty nasty ground and pound from top position. I think Elijah Smith will get this done via decision or late rounds TKO. I'm probably going to stick him with late rounds TKO right now. 3rd round TKO, maybe Sung Young Yu's taking enough body shots. Maybe the body shots start getting to him, and then Sung Young Yu just kind of gasses out and fades away in the 3rd, and Elijah Smith just TKOs him up against the fence. Is what I'm thinking. Either decision or late rounds TKO. I'm going to lock in for like a official prediction, a 3rd round TKO for Elijah Smith. But yeah, I think just Sung Young Yu is just too small for the division, dude. 5'6", small reach. He made it work against AJ Cunningham, who has a crazy reach and stuff like that. But AJ Cunningham's, I'm just gonna let you know, AJ Cunningham's not that good, dude. I'm just gonna let you know. Let's actually see the reach disparity between the two. As an opponent, so Long Zhao was 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. Cunningham was 5'10" with a 71-inch reach, and he still lost that. I do worry about Elijah Smith's age. He is 23, pretty young in the game. But he's already had his losses. He's already lost. How did he lose? I think decision, no? He's been KO'd in the 3rd by Reyes Cortez. Do I rate that? How good is Reyes Cortez? Decent. He's lost twice on the Contender Series by decision. Lost a decision to Peyton Talbot and then C-Rod on the Contender Series. Not that bad. Not that bad. Man, seeing him lose is kind of opened my eyes. I think I'm still going to go with Elijah Smith, though. Dude, I feel like I'm either going to do super, like, the best ever on this card, or I'm going to do awful, dude. There's no in between. With some of these picks I'm going with, I'm going to either hit a home run or, dude, pop out, or pop fly out. I don't know how it is baseball. How about we do MMA terms? Round 1 KO or... Okay. I'm just going to stop speaking, dude. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, moving up. Vitor, Petrino, Steven Asplund. I feel like this is a pretty easy pick. I like Steven Asplund. He's a good guy. And he's a fun fighter. But you've seen it. His one loss is via submission. And Vitor Petrino, who used to be a light heavyweight, is now a heavyweight, is going to run through Steven Asplund. He's going to topple him over and submit him in round one. You know, you could say Vitor Petrino, he got submitted by Anthony Smith, put his head in the guillotine. So what? Got knocked out by Nicholas Dalby, I think, in the third. But that was at like light heavyweight or whatever. Let me just make sure before I make myself look like an idiot. Dustin Jacoby at light heavyweight knocked him out. But Dustin Jacoby's very good. Dustin Jacoby is very, very good. But Anthony Smith at light heavyweight and Dustin Jacoby at light heavyweight. And ever since he's moved up, you know, submitted Austin Lane. Rear naked choked him in the first and then knocked out Thomas Peterson. Steven Asplund, his one loss is to Denzel Freeman. Josh Hockett victim. Sorry, just saying. Josh Hockett victim. Who Josh Hockett showed levels in the grappling. Now, I'm not saying Vitor Petrino is the same level of grappler as Josh Hockett, but I do think it's very easy. Like, if you watch the Steven Asplund, Morgan Freeman, no, what was his name? Crud, I already forgot. Denzel Freeman. Not Morgan Freeman for some reason. No. If you watch the Denzel Freeman fight, Denzel Freeman just shoots in free, double, and single legs, and Asplund, you know, gets countered. He's got a really good chin on him, Asplund does. That's why he's able to go through these wars and trade, because he's got a good chin, and he'll just take it, and then he'll crack back harder. But Vitor Petrino is very good. He's got some good takedowns. I think he'll submit in round one, rear naked choke. Easy. You know, I also think he can maybe get a TKO via ground and pound. But I think Petrino's pretty good at getting a submission. So I'm going to give him a submission round one. This is pretty... Tapology has this at 50-50, dude. Unless Asplund just somehow nukes him out in round one, I think Petrino's got this. Asplund's been pretty gay. Been pretty gay in the build-up, calling him a supermodel. So, you know, maybe he'll be dazed. Maybe he'll want Petrino to shoot a takedown on him, dude. Asplund may be gay. Anyways, Chris Curtis, my tech Orably. I think there's one more syllable that I'm not pronouncing somewhere in here, but you know what I'm saying. My tech Orably versus Chris Curtis. It's an Orably submission. I could see him getting a KO. Chris Curtis has only been submitted once in his career, but he doesn't really go against grapplers. But, you know, my tech Orably, you know, he submitted Uros Medic, dude. People forget. Submitted Uros Medic. And then that was at welterweight. He originally started his UFC debut in welterweight, then went down to lightweight, never made lightweight, had 2 catchweight bouts, one with Rebecca, where he got split decision loss, and then one with some other guy where he Kimura at him, and now he's back up at welterweight, where he just knocked out Jack Hermanson like nothing. I'm not saying he's going to knock out Chris Curtis, because Jack Hermanson's chin... After RoboCop put in that extra little shot after he knocked him out, you know, I'm not sure if Jack Hermanson's ever going to get that chin back, but I think my tech Orably is going to have an easy win over Chris Curtis. You know, Chris Curtis has a split decision over some awful guy at welterweight, lost to Kopylov, even though he could have beat him if he went to a decision. I just think my tech Orably is going to be too strong, really good scrambles, really good grappling, gets the back very easily. He's got a bit of a reach disadvantage and leg reach disadvantage. But he likes the clinch. I like his clinch work very well. I could see him maybe knocking out Chris Curtis. Maybe. But Chris Curtis doesn't really get knocked out, if I'm thinking about it. When's the last time Chris Curtis got knocked out? Besides the knockout that Roman Kopylov got, where it was just like a flash knockdown, and the ref stopped it for some reason. And he lost a decision to Jack Hermanson. So, you know, instant MMA math wins right there. By Ray Cooper III in PFL. He got right hook KO'd in the second round. He has been KO'd. He's only been KO'd twice. He loses most of his decisions. 9 of his losses are by decisions. I think Orably is going to take him down, though. Easily submit him. Get him out of there. Chris Curtis said we haven't really seen too much of a grappling game from him, again, because he hasn't really gone against grapplers. But I think Orably is like a next-level grappler. Used a lot of strength-based grappling moves, like a Kimura's. Dar says he throws people down pretty well, collects the legs very well to get the takedown, and then the clinch is very strong, I feel like. Now that Chris Curtis has gone from middleweight to welterweight, he's kind of draining himself. I don't think he's gonna be. Oh, he's because Hermanson was a middleweight to welterweight. So you know what? Maybe Orblay just knocks out another former middleweight dude, and maybe in the cards. But right now, I'm gonna go with round two submission. I think round two, or is it round one? Dude, two round one submissions back to back. Round one submission, dude. But that's just how it is. This is on the prelims. This should be on the main card, by the way. This should be on the main card, and honestly, you could probably put this on the main card over Cutelaba, Umar Sy, definitely, and Rahiki Hardwick. You could definitely put over the main card. Even Andre Philly, Jose Miguel Delgado, you could probably put them on the main card over these guys. But moving up, Charles Johnson, Bruno Silva. Now I picked Alex Perez to knock out not to knock him out, to decision Charles Johnson. And he did it because Charles Johnson's awful. And I think Bruno Silva's going to get another one over Charles Johnson. He's just not good, dude. He's not good. He doesn't use his length too much when it's someone who knows what they're doing. Bruno Silva's decent, just coming off a win over Young Sung Park or whatever his name is. Put on a pretty good performance against him, too. I think did he sub him out in the third or something, or was it a decision? Let's see. Submitted him in the third. Lost to Joshua Van and Manel Cat back-to-back. But, Cody Durden, KO'd Cody Durden, Tyson Amming. Durden's a hard guy to finish. Charles Johnson got put away by Alex Perez. Lost to Razman Timarov, who was on steroids, but, I think Bruno Silva's going to be another guy where Johnson just doesn't really hit the mark. I don't know what it is about Johnson. I don't know what it is. He's just not that good. I think Bruno Silva's decent enough where now he has never gone against someone with a 70-inch reach. This could be the fatal flaw. But Charles Johnson lost to Alex Perez, which is, 2 inches higher but the same reach. He's 2 inches taller but with the same reach. I think Bruno Silva's going to do decent in the grappling. And he's got a little bit of power to him. He's got a bit of power to him, Bruno Silva. He's definitely not on roids. All those things on his back are just for fun. But I think Bruno Silva will get this done by decision. Let's see grappling. 66 takedown defense, dude. No odds. Great. I'm going to go with Bruno Silva. This is the type of person that Charles Johnson loses to. Am I wrong? This is the type of guy that Charles Johnson loses to. He's got a stupid monk mullet haircut that he's got going on. It's going to be flying in the wind with Bruno Silva picks him up or hits him with some big bomb over the top and sends Charles Johnson flying. I think he's going to be quicker than Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson is not that quick. He lacks in defense too pretty well. Or not pretty well, but he's not very defensively sound. That's the better way to say it. Not too defensively sound. I think Bruno Silva's with some pop. He fakes a takedown, goes for the head, hits something big. I don't know. Charles Johnson just doesn't impress me with any performance. If this was an up-and-comer, I'd pick Charles Johnson all day. But it isn't. This is Bruno Silva, who's been in the game for a little bit longer now. I think he is... How many fights in the UFC does he have? 5-4. Charles Johnson is 7-6. I think Bruno Silva will get this done. Moving up, Ion Cutelaba versus Umar Sy. I'm gonna pick Umar Sy. He had that close loss to Alonzo Menifield, which isn't aging the best now. And he hasn't been winning as strongly as he should have. But I think Ion Cutelaba, split decision over Modestas Bukauskas, who just got put away by Nikita Krylov. Submission losses to who? Let me search this up real quick. So we got losses, split decision to Modestas Bukauskas, got loss of decision to Felipe Lins, beat Ivan Urslan, beat Ivo Aslan, submitted him. Tanner Bosner's knocked him out. Alonzo Minifield, though, he got Brinson Ribeiro in his last fight, but he took him out easy. Brinson Ribeiro's to take him out as easy as Umar Sy did, it's kind of impressive. Submitted Tucos Tacos, which is looking very good. I think, let me search this up real quick. I think Gillian Cutelaba gets submitted quite a bit. That's why my crafty, yeah. He has 4 submission losses, 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. He's been submitted by Johnny Walker and Ryan Spann. Guillotine choke and rear naked choke. Knocked out by Kennedy Nzechukwu. Rear naked choke by Glover Teixeira. Isn't the worst thing ever, but I just think Gillian Cutelaba is not really there anymore, He's on his way out. How old is he? 32. Umar Sy is only 30, but a lot less mileage on Umar Sy compared to Gillian Cutelaba, who's been in wars. The Modestas Bukauskas win, it was a close split decision, but I think Umar Sy is going to edge it in the grappling. I think he'll take down Gillian Cutelaba and submit him in the first. If I'm being a truly honest man, I think he can get him done in the first. Either ground and pound finish KO in the first with some grappling, or just a nice, rear naked choke from Umar Sy in the first. Easy win for Umar Sy. Gillian Cutelaba was just not there. And he may prove me wrong. He may just knock out Umar Sy instantly. And it's like, okay, dude, I'm sorry. Umar Sy's a little bit more athletic, though. Reach advantage, leg reach advantage. Seems more powerful. At this point in his career, I'm going to have to choose Umar Sy to get it done over Gillian Cutelaba. Moving up. Marwan Rahiki, Freaky Rahiki versus Harry Hardwick. Harry Hardwick. Now, Harry Hardwick, he is now in featherweight. His last fight was at lightweight, against a guy's name I forgot. Got leg kick TKO'd. And I really want to pick Marwan Rahiki. The problem is he's never gone to a decision. And he has had a TKO in the 4th round. He has gone 4 rounds or 3 rounds or whatever. I just don't trust it, dude. I wasn't able to watch any of his stuff on Fight Pass at all. Couldn't find his win on the Contender Series at all. But I think Harry Hardwick, who's fought a little bit tougher competition, Cage Warriors has some good prospects come out of there, and Hardwick's done pretty well. He's only 13-4. I think he's going to be able to, he is at a big reach disadvantage. What is it? Oh no, only 1 inch reach disadvantage and 1 inch leg reach disadvantage. So never mind. He's a little dense though. They're the same height. Oh my goodness, dude. In my mind, Freaky Rahiki's like Gumby, dude. He's like Stretch Armstrong or whatever. He's like really lanky, but he isn't, dude. Basically the same size. Hardwick looks a little bit more denser though, but I don't know. Marwan stands up straighter. I think he is quicker though, a little bit more athletic than Hardwick. I think Hardwick though is going to be able to hang in there, kind of weather a storm, a rough round 1 and 2 storm, and then late round 2, early round 3, he'll start getting it the better of Rahiki, and I think he can get a submission. Rahiki really hasn't gone against a grappler. Do they have the grappling stats? They don't. Takedown defense 100%, actually. So you know what? No chance for Hardwick. But, Hardwick has decent combinations. I think again, if he can survive the storm or Rahiki throws a little too much, gasses out a little bit too quickly, I think Hardwick can get this done in the later rounds. 3rd round submission, get in the back. Maybe TKO. Maybe he'll TKO Rahiki on the ground. I don't know. Yeah. Late round TKO or late round submission for Harry Hardwick. I'm going to lock in submission. 3rd round submission for Hardwick, but I could also see him just... hopefully he knows if he's down like 2 rounds and he has Rahiki underneath him with like a minute to go left in the 3rd, that he should just ground and pound with as if his life depends on it. Don't go searching for a submission. Last second submission can happen, but it's a lot more likely that you can get a ground and pound finish if you have dominant position. Risk a dominant position and ground and pound. Try and ground and pound their face into the canvas, because that's an easier way to get that win in the 3rd round. I think Hardwick is going to do that too. I think he'll get it done. I'm trusting him. I could be embarrassed. What is he? Plus 220 underdog? Also, Bruno Silva's a plus 145 underdog. Petrino is a favorite. Makes sense. Smith is a favorite. Vallejos is an underdog. Plus 220 underdog, so he's a 2-1 underdog. Anders near even. We already went over the rest of these. Okay. Dude, I'm just thinking Hardwick can get this done. Am I wrong, dude? He's faced some good competition. He's at his proper weight class. He was at lightweight on his short notice debut. Now he's at featherweight. I think he'll get it done. Moving up, Andre Fili versus Jose Delgado. I'm sorry, Andre Fili. Your time's come, pal. I mean, it's over for you. He looks like a Cub Swanson clone, dude. Does he not? When he used to have his long hair, he looked different, but now that he shaved his head right here, he looks like a failed experiment of Cub Swanson. Like just slightly too young, but not really a young Cub Swanson. He's like a weird mix Cub Swanson. This is like in a Pokemon evolution, he'd be like the second evolution of Cub Swanson, like the kind of the weird in betweener. I don't know, but Andre Fili, he's coming off a win over Christian Rodriguez. I just think Miguel Delgado, who had that really close loss to Nathaniel Wood, that probably should have been a win for him, but he still lost. It was close, so he lost it. He knocked out Hydra Mill, kneed him up the middle, knocked him out. I'm gonna choose Jose Delgado to get this done by round one KO. Andre Fili got put away by Cub Swanson in round 1, I think. If I remember correctly, he got put away by Old Man Swanson. No, by Dan Ige. Which, isn't the worst, because Dan Ige, besides the Milk was Ocasa fight, back in the day, Ige was a force to be reckoned with, but he KO'd, he got a win over Cub Swanson, that's what it was. Andre Fili got a win over Cub Swanson. Split decision win over Cub Swanson. Split decision win over Christian Rodriguez. Lucas Almeida knocked him out. Nathaniel Wood, he lost to Nathaniel Wood via decision. I think Jose Delgado's a little too explosive for Andre Fili. I don't think Andre Fili's going to be able to try and skirt and dance around on the outside like he did. I think, it's going to look a lot like the Dan Ige KO, where he hits him with something over the top. Same height, same reach, basically, same leg reach. Jose Delgado's just powerful, dude. He's powerful. He's explosive. I'm trusting to get him this one I'm trusting for him to get this one done by round 1 KO. Moving up, co-main event, Amanda Lemos, Gillian Robertson. Dude. I really want to pick Amanda Lemos. If you watch the Werner Jandiroba fight, she was scrambling with Werner Jandiroba very well. She was making Werner Jandiroba work for some stuff, had a good guillotine on Werner Jandiroba's first takedown attempt on her. But she's old, dude. She's very old. Very old, 38. Robertson's only 30, dude. 8 years younger. She's on a 5-fight win streak or something. Amanda Lemos, she arguably won against Tatiana Suarez, but, she was still getting taken down. And Suarez doesn't really have a threat on the ground. Gillian Robertson, which is probably why Amanda Lemos was able to pop up. Now that I'm thinking about it. She beat Mackenzie Dern, dude. It's weird. WMA is weird. She beat Mackenzie Dern somehow. Amanda Lemos did. Because Mackenzie Dern doesn't really have the takedown. Doesn't really have the takedown entries to take down Amanda Lemos. I'm going to go with Gillian Robertson. I feel like Amanda Lemos could pull this off, though. I really do. I'm really close to picking Amanda Lemos. I'm going to have to stop myself. Because if I go with Hardwick, Lemos, and Vallejos, I'm going to go really negative. So I got to go Gillian Robertson, so I at least guarantee myself like a kind of a guaranteed pick. Or I got to go with Robertson. She's younger. Decent takedown entries. She had a little bit of reach disadvantage. But Amanda Lemos, like I said, she was having good scrambles against Werner Jandiroba, but that's, she's 38 now. That was like a year or two ago. Can she still do those high intense scrambles and those good cradles? Which, by the way, watch the first couple rounds of Amanda Lemos. It's only 2 rounds, I think, but watch Amanda Lemos, Werner Jandiroba. That's actually some pretty fun grappling. a lot of scrambles. Amanda Lemos getting good cradles, good rolling with it, good Granby rolls. But I don't think she'll be able to keep that up. This isn't 5 rounds, so I could see Amanda Lemos getting the first and second, barely, being a split decision. But I think Robertson is a finisher on the ground. She finds the finish on the ground quick. Nasty ground and pound TKOs, nasty submissions. I think she'll get this one done. Late round submission. I may do late rounds knockout. But Lemos has been submitted more than she has been. Amanda Lemos gives up a lot to scramble around, which gives it open for submission attempts. So that's why I'm going to go with a late round submission, third round submission for Robertson. But again, I really wanted to pick Amanda Lemos. I really did want to pick her. You know what? While we're here, let's go by the numbers, dude. Let's look at this fight by the numbers, dude. 62% or 64% takedown defense, dude. That's all I'm saying. No odds. Great. I think Robertson will get this done. She's coming off of, like I said, a 5-fight win streak. She's got momentum. She's 8 years younger. Amanda Lemos is coming off of kind of a robbery loss to Tatiana Suarez. I wonder how that's going to affect her, what's it called? Morality into going into this fight. I'm going to have to pick Robertson just based on her showing consistency and getting people down and submitting them and or ground and pound TKO on them pretty well. So Robertson, third round KO or third round submission. Yeah. All right, main event. Give me Vallejos, man. It's Vallejos time, dude. I'm going to go with a round 2 knockout for Vallejos. I know that's weird. It's probably going to be a decision. But I think this Josh Emmett, he survived Topuria. Dude, he survived Topuria. Yeah, he got beat up for 5 rounds by Topuria. Submitted by Zalal. Verbal tapped to Zalal. Lost to Murphy. Just got picked apart for 5 rounds. Did some decent stuff, I think Emmett's just on his way out, and I think he doesn't have that grit anymore, if I'm being honest. I think he's a bit of, not a quitter, but I think he does give up pretty easily in fights. I think it won't take much for Kevin Vallejos to make Josh Emmett throw in the towel, dude. I think round 1 he may do some crazy stuff. He may try for a takedown finally, use some grappling for once in his life. But Vallejos has good grappling. He's pretty defensively sound. He went up against Gene Silva, 3 rounds against Gene Silva. He got caught a couple times, but, he didn't get caught with something big. He hasn't really been ever caught with something big. And Emmett telegraphs, what he's going for, dude. Step in overhand right, step in overhand left. That's his thing. He's caught Bryce Mitchell with it, and that's it. Bryce Mitchell's a bantamweight, dude, so he's lucky Bryce Mitchell had COVID, too. All right? So Bryce Mitchell would have banana split Josh Emmett. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kevin Vallejos. Round 2 knockout. Round 2 knockout for Kevin Vallejos. I think Emmett's just slowly on his way out, and I think this is one of the fights that puts the nail in the coffin on Josh Emmett's career. And it's going to be a nasty Vallejos knockout. They're the same size, basically, 5'7", 5'6". Bit of a reach advantage for Emmett. Leg reach advantage for Emmett, but he's not going to use this stuff. Vallejos is such a tidy boxer. Keeps everything defensively sound. Like I said, he doesn't really get hit with too much. Good combinations. You saw it against Giga Chikadze. He's smart with his combinations. He knows when to throw in some crafty stuff. Like who goes from a overhand right into a spinning back fist and then elbows on the floor? No one does that. What are the odds? No odds. Huh. Great. What about on Tapology? What are the odds? Let me see this real quick. Emmett is a plus 400 underdog, with Vallejos being a minus 575 favorite. That's crazy. That is crazy. But I think it's just Josh Emmett's way. He's on his way out, and I think this is his last fight. He's on like a 4-fight losing streak or whatever, 3-fight losing streak. I think it's over for him. I think, after that Topuria beating, and then, what else? Murphy kind of beat him up a little bit, hit his legs hard. I think Vallejos, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Vallejos throwing some oblique kicks like Lerone Murphy did. You saw how much anger that put in Josh Emmett's heart. I could see Kevin Vallejos doing some oblique kicks, getting him angry, lowering him into something, and hitting him with like a nasty uppercut or like nasty check hook on the exit, dude. I could see it. Uppercut while Emmett's doing his stupid overhand, has his head down, does his overhand. Vallejos times a good uppercut into it. Oh. You know, you get dropped by Topuria so much, that chin's going to slowly whittle down. And I think Vallejos is going to be the guy to put it away. He's got some power. He's crafty. I'm going with Kevin Vallejos. Second round KO for Mr. Kevin Vallejos. Sorry I made this so late. It's 11 o'clock at night. I need to start making these earlier. Dim Beam, I will not be doing a fight companion tomorrow because I have work and I wasn't able to get off. I'm going to try and make a recap if I can get off in time to watch at least some of the fights and rewatch them before I have work the next day. But post your thing in the comments and we can post your picks. You didn't post your picks last time anyways for the Oliveira card where I cried my eyes out when I saw that Holloway lost. By the way, awful fight. I swept that card too. I did really good on that card besides Oliveira. Like I went 8-12 or whatever. But the main card I was sweeping it. I got Drew Dober round 2 knockout. I got what else was on there? Boralho decision, easy. I got what was the other knockout? What was the other knockout? Now you're making me. Now I gotta check it real quick. Dude. Gregory Rodriguez, Bruno Ferreira. I thought it was going to be a decision for Rodriguez, but I knew he'd get it done. And then I called Ralros Jr. decision over Rob Font. I'm just too good, man. I'm just too good. But anyways, that's my picks for UFC Emmett Vallejos. Don't be funny. Make some money. Buy the numbers.